You tell me when to
Hello,
start.
hello, and welcome to the second set of the Follies. We have something we haven't had on the Follies before. The originals are all together on the same Zoom space. So they've got a little stage set up, and we're going to watch them. We're running a couple minutes late, so they'll go their full 25 minutes, and then following them, we'll have a 5 minute break, and it will be the Messing House team. So just a little bit of change in that schedule there. So anyway, welcome to the originals.
Hello, Follies fans. My name is Dave McCabe. I'm part of the originals. You know, we're Pittsburgh's only over 55-year-old improv team. Yay! I can hear you applauding right now. You know, Pittsburgh is really a city of neighborhoods, individual neighborhoods around here, and we got our own little things every once in a while that we get to talk about that makes us a little bit unique. I know the first thing you're thinking is Jagger bushes. What in the world is a Jagger bush? Well, that's not one of my three, so you're just going to have to look that up. Number 3, are you ready? In Pittsburgh, there's a whole lot of street parking, so we end up putting lawn chairs in the parking spot. We're saving our spot. It's like we're a bunch of school children saving our spots out there. So there's number 1. We put lawn chairs to save our parking spots. Number 2, do you know what we have at weddings that you probably don't have? We got stuff called cookie tables. Cookie tables? What could that possibly be? We get catered cookies and people cookies and aunt cookies and grandma cookies. We put them all there, and it's like a big showcase. And to keep people from eating them, we put this big piece of clear plastic over top of them, just like a lot of people do with their living rooms. That's the living room, but you can't sit down on it. So that's the cookie table, and you can't eat it. However, if you like cookies like we do, you turn the tarp off, and there's to-go tank containers. So in Pittsburgh, there's cookie tables with to-go containers. And what's my number 1 Pittsburgh neighborhood thing? Well, whenever you're down in a basement and you see a lone toilet sitting there with no covering, no shade, no curtain around it, that's called a Pittsburgh toilet. Because you know what? If you don't want to drag your dirty old grass-filled shoes upstairs to go to the regular toilet, the Pittsburgh completely open in the middle of a basement toilet is for you. Convenience, am I right? Well, I'd love to introduce the originals to you. Come on up, guys. Ho-ho! You know what? Everybody's got neighbors. And you know, we've all had experiences with them. When I was a kid, we had this neighbor, George Gumbert. I swear he was in everybody's business. And just so it happens, I was a part of a divorce kit in the middle of the 70s. What? I don't want you to cry about it, but I do want to let you know that 2 days before Christmas, my dad told us he was leaving. No, it still doesn't affect me. No, I'm getting it worked out of my memory. But thanks for going collectively even though I couldn't hear you. But Mr. Gumbert would go around, and he was like the neighborhood street watchdog. Whereas, like, if you had a car up on jacks or cans or something, no good. If you didn't have your lawn clipped up, he would absolutely knock on your door. But then again, he would also give the other guys beer whenever they needed it. And I got to play with his really, really, really cute daughter, Linda, who's, by the way, we were playing Barbies and G.I. Joes, 12 inches. Well, the dog bit me, Peanuts, right here. I guess that happens.
Man, where's that dog? I just know he's coming after me. Where did he go? Oh, there he is.
Okay, now Peanuts was a small dog with a big, big mouth. And I'll tell you, sharp teeth.
I hate little dogs. I hate little dogs. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. You can't say again. Just a little dog. I don't like you. No, you don't. But I like your master, Jennifer.
He's mine.
No.
He's mine.
I can tell you, as a kid in the 70s, we did want to please everybody. So we would more or less put up with the dog.
The only reason I haven't hit you or kicked you or done something really mean is because I want to keep playing with Jennifer.
Just don't get too close. My rabies shot is overdue.
I'm staying my distance. 6 feet.
Coincidentally enough, Peanut did talk, so you could understand exactly how he was feeling.
But you know what? Ooh, I did. I know you like peanut butter.
Okay, this is really going to happen because remember, in the 70s, there was no such thing as a peanut allergy.
Yeah, for crying out loud!
It was an accident.
It was not an accident. You did that on purpose. Are you getting tired?
No.
There was something else in the peanut butter. There was. Little pill. My mommy's little pill. She takes it to go to sleep at night.
Oh no, I can still stay awake.
It'll take a little while. You're gonna get sleepy. And you're going to love me when you get up because you're going to have such a nice sleep. Because I decided that that's your problem, you know? Sleep.
Cats.
All right, you just get here. I'm gonna go find Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer.
A lot of times, you spend a lot of time alone back then. And then you had to make up imaginary friends that you liked just as much. I mean, as long as you weren't getting bit by a dog.
Okay, well, play with Sarah then. Sarah's my best friend. She's my imaginary friend. We always hold hands and we swing our hands as we walk down the street. She's so nice. She's even nicer than Jennifer,
Peanut butter and cats.
but she doesn't talk much. At least the dog talks to me.
You know, the pill's only going to last so long because it's mom's pill. And honestly, it was probably a placebo.
How do you feel? Are you rested? Well, are you rested?
A little hungover.
You want to play? We could play fetch.
In my neighborhood, the dogs were pretty adjusted because, as you know, in the 70s, they would just dump the warm beer inside the bowl.
I know. We could go. We could go find a cat to choose. What do you think?
Ooh, I like the Miller Lite.
Yeah. I think you would. I think you would. You know what? I think we could be friends.
Sure, I can be friends with anything.
Yeah.
Nobody should trust Peanut. Ever.
Can I pet you, Peanut?
Sure.
You'll be sorry.
Here's my collar.
Go for a walk?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. So I grew up on a 50-acre farm. So the nearest neighbor is down the road, at least a quarter of a mile. And the other nearest neighbor was down the road that way, a quarter of a mile. So you could see the houses. Occasionally you could see these little people coming out of the houses and getting in their cars and driving somewhere. Or you could see them out in their garden. And we would watch and make sure that, everything was okay. But we never really talked to them. Every once in a while, we would make a visit where we actually go to the house, knock on the door, and sit and visit for a while. But that was few and far between because we really liked our privacy. And I still like my privacy. It's a lot harder in the city, but I managed to watch the neighbors without getting too
I am glad we got the crane to get the tractor up here on the roof.
I don't mind, having to get a crane, but you could at least hold. I mean, you come out and see, your tractor, which normally is on 4 wheels on the ground,
Right.
on a roof.
Yeah.
You've got to ask a few questions.
Details. I'm one of those ask for forgiveness rather than ask for permission guys. But we all have the top of this building sectioned off. Your apartment 2F, right?
Harry was a real prankster.
No, you're 2F, right? Yeah, so we yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, but it looks like somebody planted weed in your section of the rooftop garden.
What? I don't have anything to do with that. I don't need anything to put me in a different frame of mind. I can do that perfectly well by myself.
Hey, it says right here in the homeowners association that we're only be supposed, it's 2022, we're only be supposed to be planting potatoes this year.
Dude,
And yeah,
dude,
yeah,
dude,
oh yeah.
do you have that dime bag from your garden? I don't have it anymore. I kind of need it. Just right now, just a dime
Hold on a
bag.
second, let's check the chart.
Okay.
Yeah, and what are you looking for? A dime bag?
Yeah, the dime bag of his garden.
Oh yeah,
It's
you're
under
right. Yeah, you gotta
tomato.
go to section D12,
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, I
and
see
then
that.
there's drawing instructions right there.
Thank you. Okay, great.
Oh,
great.
hey, no
You
problem.
rock. You rock.
Huh.
I don't know where these people are coming from. I grow tomatoes and peppers,
I know.
not hallucinogenic.
Yeah, hold on. On the chart right here, it specifically says hallucinogenic moonshade vegetables. So apparently something's going wrong. Huh.
Bob always got in trouble and he didn't do anything wrong.
Hey, Bob, I've been meaning to talk about your section there. Looks like some of your moonshade vegetables are creeping into D11 over there.
It's a natural thing. I mean, that's what these things do. I mean,
The world is so cool without gravity. Oh
Oh
my
my
God. Oh, those were amazing grain beans. Woo!
Yeah, you see, hybrids aren't just for cars, buddy.
what? I mean, you're not supposed to smoke these vines. I mean, come on. You're supposed to make sauces and stews and
And brownies.
not that kind.
D11 says so right there. Me, I'm a D8. Actually, all of my plants are very, very high in phosphorus and vitamin D. And you could use your little snippers and you can put the little tips of that on your salads and stuff. You, my friend, are contaminating the whole side of this road.
Oh no, Tim Jacobs has called the cops.
Wait a minute. I'm just growing these garden vegetables and there's police here? What? I don't get it.
Hey, buddy, this building isn't in Denver, if you know what I mean.
And that's exactly the way it would have happened.
Huh.
So I have this neighbor named Mrs. Jensen, And she had like, I don't know, 7 or 8 kids. Her kids were all perfect. They always did all the nicest, greatest things. And my kids were a little bit of a wild child. So she'd be very nice and she'd never say anything too terrible about them. But sometimes she would be like a little bit like she'd be trying to give you a compliment or you think she would, but actually she was insulting you. And so there was a time when she called me up on the phone in this sort of high-pitched voice, and she was like, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Mitchell." She said, "There's a little issue I think you may want to come down for." She said, "Josh and his friend are down at the yard." And I'm like, "Oh, what happened?" She says, "Well, last week, we lost our beloved Whiskers." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't realize that." She says, "Yes, your son and his friend dug up the cat and now they're jumping over the grave." And I said, "Are you sure that my children are doing that?" And she goes, "Oh, yes." She goes, "My children had a prayer service all planned for this week." And I said, "For the cat?" She says, "Mine would never jump and play leapfrog over the cat's grave."
I don't know why we're even doing this. I mean, it's clear that this reanimation ritual is not working.
But it's so cool to try.
I know, but it's still down there and it's still stiff as a board. The idea was to come back to life and be normal again, but it's like, we must be doing something wrong.
And we probably need more candles. We've only got candles in the front half. Maybe we need candles the whole way around. And then we have to light them. So you have to find a match.
Josh was very, very curious about everything that ever happened to him.
So I know this is stiff, and that must mean something about it being dead.
Yeah.
So if we get the candle and we light them, we'll be good, but we need matches. You can't revive a corpse without lit candles.
I think we need a little bit more than just candles. That's just like ambiance. We need something.
Doug, his friend, never missed an opportunity to be a little mean to him.
I think the reason this cat's not coming back to life is we're not trying hard enough. I really suspect that you're not putting your whole soul into this.
I brought all the candles that Mom had. I can't help it that she won't let me play with matches.
Hello, Jane. It's me. I'm not looking in your window or anything, but I think those kids are playing with matches and candles. I don't know what they're doing, but I smell death. No, I'm not snooping. Don't worry about it.
You know what? I think we should give up on the candles. I think we should move on to something that really motivates dead animals to come back to life, and that's firecrackers.
You have firecrackers.
Oh yeah, do I?
That
Yeah.
would be perfect.
Doug always lied about everything.
We can use the candles, but we'll get the firecrackers and we'll just throw it right at them one after another in like a cadence. We'll make it.
They're not really violent firecrackers. They're not like gonna cause a big. You know what? They're just kind of like small candle shaped.
Oh, hey, it's me again. Not that I'm looking in the window.
Mrs. Jensen always tried to bring the Bible and Bible verses into everything she talked about.
Those kids are up to no good. I mean, who am I to say? Because God's watching your children too when you're not. Not judging. I hope they don't burn the house down.
It says in the Bible here, Ezekiel 4:7, Bring me your dead cats before me, and I shall rise them up into their glory of their previous life.
Ezekiel?
Yeah, he was like the cat prophet.
I don't know Ezekiel. Does he live around here?
Not really, but like, I'm not gonna, you can't like deny this guy knows what it takes to bring a cat back to life.
I don't mean to pry, but they seem to be reading scripture from a comic book. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And that's exactly how it happened.
Okay, when I was younger, we lived on a small farm, and we didn't have a lot of close neighbors. That was kind of out in the country. But my dad did industrial work, electrical work, and so people would often ask him for help. So he would do some jobs for them, and back then a lot of times people didn't have a lot of money, so sometimes they would pay him in other things, and food or whatever. So one time he does a job for a neighbor, and he comes back with a sheep, and it was like half grown, and he's like brings it in. It's like, look what I got. My mom's like, what the hell is this? What are we going to do with this? And he goes like, well, we'll raise it, of course. And it's like, and I'm like, cool. This is going to be like instant status for me. Like nobody at school has a sheep. I have a sheep. So dogs kind of help the sheep out. And actually, after a while, the sheep kind of maybe actually kind of thought it was like a dog. I mean, he would even eat some of their food, and we would stake it out on a tether, and then it would take care of the grass. But the problem was that I think the sheep used to go too far sometimes and like eat too much of the dog's food. The dog did not like this, so it would wait for the sheep to be grazing, and then like as kind of like retribution, it would come up and grab the wool right above its eyes and just shake the sheep's head like until you could like literally see its eyes like bouncing back and forth like the little googly eyed things on teddy bears when you shake them. And like the sheep was just clearly rattled. And the dog thought this was all great fun and then would run off, and knew the limits of the tether for the sheep. And the sheep would tear off at 90 miles an hour, with planning to like ram the dog and get to the end of the rope and just like, oh, and the dog, you could almost hear him like laughing. So long story short, one time the dog thinks it has this all thing totally worked out, but it miscalculates, and we had staked the sheep out close to a shed that had like corrugated tin siding, and so the dog comes up and grabs the sheep and shakes its head, and the sheep tears off after him, but the dog makes a mistake and runs into the side of the shed, and then this broadside with it, and the sheep goes like, aha, I have you now, and then T-bones the dog right in the ribs. And you can literally hear the air come out of the dog. And after that happened, it was like there was like an accord was reached. There was no more teasing. But peace.
Look at the little baby. Ow! Stop bringing me things like that. I want to thank you for. Really, you're always hurting me. You're like, I'm gonna hurt you. No, last night while we were sleeping, didn't you come over and you were like yelling weird things in my ears? No, I wouldn't. Yes, it was definitely you.
Oh,
No, my window was open, my curtains were open, and I had my name on it. On. You got your own birthday card.
and
I brought you a present. I brought you your favorite chocolate cake with candles on it. The candles were blown out and there was 2 pounds of more tea in there. I know it was yours, black sentence.
Oh, I know. You're just making all this up. It's not my
Oh, you don't think so? You don't think so? I have footprints of you that I have saved in my yard from cement. Look at that. It fits perfectly. Look at that impression. It is yours.
lots of people have foot.
Not with a missing third toe.
I don't walk around in my bare feet.
Of course you do. You run around in your bare feet all the time and yell scary things at me like, Sasquatch is coming! Sasquatch is coming! That's you. I didn't know I'm afraid of Sasquatch because of that trauma when I was little. My mom used to never, you used to tell me.
You know what? I bet Sasquatch.
Cut to your little girl moment. Sorry.
The thistle from going through the hedge looks like. You've been we're trying to get me killed. He's wanted to give you this.
Listen, you, that's not a chick. It's not.
It's because
I don't see that.
You always have to be aware that you get used to unusual stuff.
So be nice to your neighbors and give them nice chicks.
We are the originals.
We are the original. And you know what? We've all had interesting news. I love Mr. Freehopper. He's the greatest stock cars. They
Thank you. It was so cool to see you all in the same
Oh,
space
thank you.
together.
Thank-
Yeah.
Yeah, we like being together too.
Yeah.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Right. It's almost like house arrest.
So, and you all introduce yourselves individually?
Oh, right.
What's that?
Go, introduce ourselves.
Oh, I'm Alex Suey.
And I'm Debbie Mitchell,
Carol Chestnut.
And Dave McCabe.
and we're all from Pittsburgh.
And they're the originals! Yay! They're going to be back. I don't remember the next date. Do you remember the next date?
It's in August.
Yeah.
In August. They're going to be back in August. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
House Team Messing is up next. We'll be back up in just a couple minutes. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.